Hey everyone, this is The Beard with Bearded Bird Productions, and this is my first thoughts and reviews for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 3. Spoilers! There are spoilers in this episode. If you have not watched Episode 3 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, please do so before watching this. Or if you just like spoilers, then I mean, you guys, I'm not going to stop you. So watch at your own risk. But there are spoilers, so beware. So let's kick this thing off. Really, it's starting like Act 2 of the show. There's so much to really dig in here from the continuation of Isaiah Bradley's story with Dr. Wilfred Nagel, more shrouded mystery around the power broker, and a well-delivered X-Men Easter egg with Madripoor and Patch's frequented bar, the Princess Bar. For those of you who don't know, Patch is actually Wolverine's Madripoor alter ego. Honestly, there's so much to talk about. I won't be able to focus on those pieces too much, so comment below if you want to hear more. I will actually start the same way the episode did, in discussing the GRC. I love how the episode starts off with a very Skynet commercial, a happy, wonderful government force. I am personally in love with satirical commercials and the oversimplification and perspective that goes into commercials that are really developed in movies, TVs, and honestly the real world. This GRC promo showcasing everybody working together, everyone being happy and just fitting in the right puzzle pieces is not unlike something that I could see showing its face in the real world, trying to bring everyone together. Then, cut to the militarized version of it and our new Captain America hopping out of a GRC van in Germany. We don't see a lot of Walker and Hoskins in this episode, but what we do see is still a lot to unpack. He is getting more aggressive and brutish, fighting, screaming, and very frustrated. You can really tell that Sam and Bucky left a bruise when they parted ways in episode 2. Walker did have to follow the rules and go through red tape, and by the end of the episode, you see him starting to go off script. But to what end? I'm in my head over here, but I think he'll have redemption. I do think that he'll dive deeper and deeper into darkness, get some powers by the power broker as we've seen in the comics, lose the shield to Bucky and Sam, and then join them in the final fight, realizing the weight of the shield was just too much for him. He'll go on and become U.S. agent and still fight for the good fight, but not becoming Captain America any longer. If he is following the trail of Bucky and Sam as they've mentioned, that means that he will be most likely crossing paths with some of Madripoor's finest, maybe even going there. Now, I don't think that he will, because I'm not sure how well the GRC or even Captain America would be welcomed in a place like Madripoor. I will say it was very exciting to see what Cyberpunk 2077 would actually look like in real life. But for real, Madripoor is a fantastic addition into the world of the MCU, and I think they did a great job bringing it to life. While visiting Madripoor, our boys, Sam and Bucky, were not alone, but they were led by Baron Zemo. Yes, I said it, Baron, and I am happy to say that they were able to adjust the note in Civil War, where they kind of threw it under the rug and called him, oh yeah, he's a general. That was in Sokovia. No, he is a Baron. He has rich parents and a jet. I would love a jet. That sounds awesome. Now, although Sam and Bucky were on their A game as per usual with their witty banter back and forth, it was really the addition of Zemo and Sharon Carter that really stole this episode for me. More on my girl Sharon later. Now, we have seen Zemo act as the Hannibal Lecter, calculating behind the glass, but this time we got to see more of a Zemo that knows how to have a bit of fun. His relaxed attitude and tongue-in-cheek jokes mean only one thing. He is 100% playing the crap out of Sam and Bucky. He is a master at manipulation, and although he is helping them get closer to what they want, he is still shredding them down piece by piece, breaking down their walls and pulling them exactly to where he wants them to be. Every word, every sentence, every action will have its payoff, and I'm just waiting to see where it all lines up. My guess is by the end of this series, Zemo will escape, or at least plant what he needs and still be captured, but I think he's going to begin forming the Masters of Evil. You know, he's getting that group mentality. He's working with these two guys and seeing how as a team, they'll be able to do more. So yeah, I think the Masters of Evil, I think that's gonna be a thing. I'm thinking that it'll be a small but constant threat throughout the next few phases of the MCU, maybe grow into a larger threat eventually. But I do think that they're gonna be teased and built throughout, while the MCU does deal with a larger galactic threat as the big bad of the phases. Like Kang the Conqueror, who has already been cast. But Zemo's performance, as mentioned, was exceptional and complemented only by that of Miss Emily Van Camp's return as Sharon Carter. Now, Zemo was very cheeky in this episode, but Sharon was the dark, grounded one. And for good reason, she was left and forgotten about, and more on the run than Bucky, for some reason, because he's killed people. She just helped some people escape. I'm not going to dive too much into that. Now, I am falling more and more in love with this show and really how Marvel is doing their Disney Plus shows, being able to dive into more deeper storylines and connections like this. Knowing that, if you enter the MCU, your story will continue even if it's off screen. Be that Darcy Lewis getting her doctorate or Sharon Carter opening up a gallery in Madripoor. They're constantly developing these characters and making it feel like this is a real world, that all actions have consequences. Now, she does lay down the gauntlet for the boys, more or less calling them kids, for still believing in things like heroes. She was burned by this, where she's like, yeah, I'm going to do this for you. You guys are right. You guys are the heroes. Everything will be fine. She knew that she was going to be on the run, but I don't think she calculated really the complete fallout that was going to happen to her. That being said, I don't think that's all gone. I think deep down she still feels like heroes are important. Otherwise, she wouldn't still be helping them with everything that they've been asking her to do. She has a hardened exterior, but I think that deep down she's still the Sharon that we met back in Civil War. But she's got to protect her new rep, her new Madripoor rep, which she does in flying colors. She actually takes center stage for the majority of the action in this episode, taking out bounty hunter after bounty hunter in the shipping yard, and giving the boys a little bit more time dealing with the doctor. She really brought a lot more depth to the team, a lot more darkness that in a different way than how Bucky and Sam brought their own. And I was really sad when she didn't hop in the car that Baron Zemo brought over to everybody to escape. But fear not, she left a little cliffhanger for us, turning the corner and mentioning to her driver that there's a big problem. Actually, a couple of problems. What do those mean? Is it the death of the Doctor? Is it that Sam and Bucky are on their way to the Flag Smashers? Is it Zemo being out and about and not in prison anymore? Is she contacting the CIA? Or is it involving the way I believe that she actually got her status and money in Madripoor? The power broker. I think that she has helped him in some way, and in return, he has protected her. Not that she needs it, but financially. But there's got to be some connection there as they are continuing to pile up for the big reveal. Maybe she is the power broker. I very much doubt it, but what if? Especially since if you really look into the titles of these episodes, which I know WandaVision did very well, and I think that honestly the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is being very straightforward. For example, last week's episode was called The Star-Spangled Man, and it very much focused on John Walker. This episode is called Power Broker, but they didn't introduce him. They kind of tiptoed around the fact, but they did bring back Sharon Carter as a centerpiece in this episode. I'm just saying. I know I'm wrong, but what if? Now, although they do set out to have Power Broker as the big bad, our flag-smashing friends, more specifically Carly Morgenthau, is making her way to challenge that title. We did get a little bit more of a flag-smashing background as they continue to support their fellow people and fall into the Robin Hood persona, stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. However, after the death of what can only be assumed is her mother, or at least a mother figure, Carly takes things a step too far and blows up all of the GRC soldiers they just stole supplies from. She should have taken her friend's advice and taken some time to grieve. Grieving is very important. Now, I can only assume that this will continue to grow and escalate to the point where she is potentially the flag smasher. If you looked at her friend's face, he was not okay with that. And she is quickly taking the steps away from victim and to the terrorists that some people are calling them. I think that there's a chance that she's going to be isolating the followers that she has and taking advantage of her super soldier serum and really committing to this by herself, becoming the individual known as Flag Smasher. Now, they have, as we've mentioned, been using their powers to help people. And as mentioned in this episode, helping people utilizing your powers provides and gains trust. So where does that leave them when they start to break that trust and become these terrorists? What does that symbol become? See what I did there? That symbol? There's a lot of parallels between them and our friend Captain America. Symbols that are acting against what that symbol stands for and creating a new perspective of what that symbol means. Yes, I use symbol a lot in that sentence, but we're going with it. Obviously, this was a purposeful side story to moving along that will be put into the full frame of the next episode. I'm sure that we're going to continue to see these two dive deeper and deeper into what they stand for, what their purpose is, what their full-on mission is supposed to be. Now, this episode really delivered on all sides. The action, the dialogue, spot on as always, and really keeping up that intrigue of each episode. Where are these twists and turns? Now, it's not WandaVision. WandaVision kept us on our toes and at the edge of our seats because nobody had any idea what was actually going to happen. This one still has the twists and turns. It's much more straightforward, but still keeping you guessing. Now, where we're at in this episode now, and this is episode 3 out of 6, so we're halfway done. The players are set, the players are in motion, and I'm still expecting a few more twists, like how on earth is Wakanda going to play in this? And I mean, just way to go and bring that into play, Marvel. Just way to go. Just one more piece of evidence that showcases the MCU is locked in on every action has a consequence. From the Sokovia Accords to something as subtle as Ao showing up from the Dora Milaje. There's nothing that can't happen. Every action has a consequence in the MCU. Yes, they mentioned it earlier about Wakanda not forgetting. I thought it was going to not necessarily be a throwaway line, but more of a, hey, don't forget these things happen. And then boom, they show up. It's crazy. In the next episode, I'm sure that stakes are going to continue to get higher. More mysteries, I do believe, are going to reveal themselves all in time for the climax episode in episode 5, falling out to the resolution in episode 6. This show is continuing to give high quality and also a great example of how these movies and TV shows are all tying together. I think keeping these as miniseries with, 6 to 9 episodes is just icing on the cake. I really hope that they don't become, season 2, season 3, because these are beautiful, beautiful pieces and little nuggets of gold to keep the MCU active and alive. To stay up to speed with some more of our reviews, please do make sure to hit that subscribe button, like button, and alert button, and whatever other buttons I forgot to mention, and we will see you on the next video.